Welcome everybody to another live edition of A Justice Conversation. I am your host for the day, Suave Gonzalez. Live in the studio, we got my man Lebrain Brown. You know, we doing a brand new show for him. With time we can, we're recording a short documentary, man. So if you see cameras, don't worry about it. He's the man. And like I say every week, we need to support each other. Black-owned business, Latino-owned business. Yo, we here live. So welcome to the studio, bro. I'm gonna pass you the mic. Do what you want to do. It's your show today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. My brother from another mother, man. It's Lebrain Brown with Time We Can. You know, the prison docu-series. So let's get started. So, man, I just want to ask you, man, you know, I've known you for quite some time. Juvenile lifer. You gave me a lot of game, man. I really appreciate you. But I just want to know, like, so how was it first day going inside as a young kid?
I mean, as everybody know, you know, I spent 31 years in prison. I went in as a juvenile. You know, when you say first day in the county, first day in the state prison,
First day
in
getting
juvie.
off. First day getting off the bus at state prison.
I mean, the first day you get off, right? You get on the bus. They take you from juvie, and you have a bunch of clowns, COs.
Right.
They want to play scared straight with you.
Right.
They're
right.
gonna do this in prison. They're gonna do that. You fresh with a light sentence, so you ain't thinking nothing but survival. They cuff you up, shack you down like slaves. Wrap your wrist with a chain around your waist, put you in a bus, and you end up like 45 minutes from Philadelphia. But it seems like 4,500 miles. Because it seems like it's far away, but it's so close to the city. So as you get to Montgomery County and you get to Grattisville, you see this 45-foot wall. And the wall looked just like a mountain of bricks. And the closer you get to the wall, the bigger it looks. And your thoughts is like, oh shit, this is where I'm gonna spend my life in.
Wow.
And I remember getting there, and the first time getting there, I seen a guard, a white guard, spitting out tobacco juice out his mouth into a cup in the towel. When I was out, oh my God. And we stood there in front of that metal gate for about 45 minutes till that guard decided to open the door. And then everything I knew about the world was gone. Everything.
Wow.
Because it was like entering a whole new world. Now you in the jungle. You got to survive. So we get there, and when we get to the receiving room, it's about 4 or 5 black COs. And I say black because in most of these state prisons, the COs, they want to act tougher. The COs, they want to grind you up. The COs that want to inject their brand of justice are normally look like us.
Wow.
Right? So we get there and the CO is like stripped. We got the strip, butt naked. You got to lift your private part. They give you a little cup of shampoo. And the reason they do that so you won't bring no bed bugs or whatever else they think you're going to bring into an institution. And from there, they move you on to a little room and you can hear the hearts of people, of other guys up there for the first time. But nobody want to say they scared because everybody want to play tough. I was scared, you know. I let y'all know I was scared. Then come the good part, which is they strip you out of your identity.
Wow.
You know, they take you in a room and the first question they ask you is, where do you want your body sent?
Wow.
And the event you die in prison. You're already serving a life sentence, which in PA is like a death sentence. And them asking you that question reinforce that, like, you here to die.
Wow.
You here to die. You're not here to get rehabilitated. You here to die. So once they do that, you sit down with a counselor. She asks you them questions. Then they strip you of out your name. Your name no longer would be whatever your mama named you. Your name will be a number. Okay. 2 letters and 4 numbers.
Wow.
That's your identity. And they tell you you must carry your ID card which I think that's something that I still carry.
Right.
That's
right.
something I still carry because I haven't let that habit go yet. And this is your new identity right here,
Yeah, make
you
sure
know.
make sure they see that.
which is they give you this, and this carry more weight than your social security card, your birth certificate,
Right.
of any identification that you ever had in the street.
Wow.
If you don't have this in prison, you could end up in solitary confinement. They punish you.
Wow.
This is your identity.
Okay.
And before your name is written real small, but it say inmate and number.
Can you show it to him?
Yeah, I got it.
Wow.
That's your identity, man. And they give you that, and they tell you memorize that number, because without that number, you can't get visits, you can't get a mail, you can't get off the block, you can't really get nothing. That's your new identity. And from there, they take you to quarantine, which is back then was E-Block.
Okay.
In Gratisford was E-Block. And it was like 500 people on the block, 2 football fields long.
Wow.
And you like 16, fresh. Everybody there's probably been there for years. You the fresh meat. Everybody's looking. You can feel the predator's eyes looking at you.
So how was it walking down the tier and seeing all those grown men behind the bars as you was walking to
You
your
saw
cell?
your future. You seen your future.
Wow.
You
Really?
know that in 20 years you gonna be on that side of the tier, looking at some young boy coming in. You saw your future. And we get to the block, and I remember I was like, oh my God, what I got myself into. It's too late. Now you gotta survive.
Yeah.
First thing you trying to think is about how I'm gonna survive. My survival, I come from the streets.
Right.
I was determined to survive. First thing I did, I bought me a shank. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because at the time when I went to prison,
Mm-hmm.
I went to one of the worst prisons in the state,
And what is that for the people?
Gratisford Penitentiary, which was the 6th largest penitentiary in the United States
Wow. At what age?
at 16.
16.
So when you get there, you either survive or you fold.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is if you surviving, you got to do what you got to do by any means necessary. If you fold, you're gonna be somebody's wife.
Wow.
You're gonna be washing somebody's clothes. Somebody gonna take your commissary money. Then your mama's gonna send you every time she get paid from work. So you gonna have some oodles and noodles and some cupcakes.
Now, if you don't mind, how did you obtain your life sentence at 16?
I was involved with a lot of illegal activities in the street. I used to roll with a crew. I'm not gonna say their names. And one thing led to another. A young brother got killed.
Okay.
And
Rest in peace to that brother.
some of us got arrested. Some of my so-called street homies fold. Because we all tough. We all tough till we end up in situations that we don't want to be in. And like I always say, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody talk that till they get punched in the face.
Really? That's real.
Everybody in the street talk that tough talk till they sit in homicide cuffed up and they see their future flashing right in front of their eyes.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
That's when you determine is I'm a fold, is I'm gonna become an Apple like in New York and just tell on everybody,
Right.
or is I'm gonna take the case.
And is that what you did?
I decided to play by the code of the street,
Okay.
because I thought my dudes was gonna do that.
Right.
They fled.
Wow.
They fled.
You was the only one out of that whole crew that got the life
Only one that
sentence?
got a life sentence. Everybody else fled. And by the time
Wow.
you get to know, you book. So my advice to the people in the street, there is no code of the street for real.
Now, was that
You
your
know,
first time?
That's my
locked
first
up?
arrest.
Your
My
first arrest. And you got a life sentence. Your
First
very
arrest.
first
And I got
arrest.
life sentence. So to me, once I seen that, I knew that I would never be part of that game again. Ever. ever, because we can sit here and say we loyal to da 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 till you get confronted with reality, and facing the life sentence is reality. Having your life taken from you is reality. Being put in jail and being told you gonna die in prison, that's reality. Being in prison and watching your mother, father, grandmother, aunt, and everybody else in between die, that's reality. And you can't even go to the funeral. That's reality.
Now,
And none of your boys is gonna come out and say,
right,
I got you, I'm gonna pay for the none of them.
right.
That's
right.
reality.
Now let me ask you a question. So, you said when you first went in, it was survival mode, and you brought a shank, and you wanted to make sure to protect yourself. At what point did you transition to the mind state you have now? At what point did you say, I want to be different, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. One day I will be
Well,
free.
my transition took years, bro. You know, I think that for some people, being in prison, it takes, with a life sentence, it takes like 10 years
10 years.
to get at that time. You know, I went to prison in the 80s where it was dangerous in prison, especially for juveniles.
Okay.
You know, we was juvenile and adult prisons. That was some dangerous game.
Wow.
So you got to survive. You got to let people know I'm not the one.
Right.
And you develop the mindset where I'm never going home. I got nothing to lose. When you in that mindset, that means whoever step in your path could get it. And what I mean could get it in prison terms, that means you mess with me, you could get stabbed.
That's
You
a
mess
rough
with
way
me,
to
you either
live.
gonna have to kill me or I'm gonna kill you. That's real rap. That's prison terms.
Okay.
You know, and I live in that mindset for years. I ended up in solitary confinement because of that mindset for 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Straight.
Straight.
Wow, in the hole.
And the whole, because of that mindset. It was in the whole that I realized, like, I got nothing to prove to nobody no more. Because once you're in the prison system, once you do something crazy, everybody, the word get around that he's not the one.
Wow. Okay.
So when I was in solitary confinement, I just said, you know what? I'm done with that game. Because the prison game is just like the street game. It mimicked the street game.
So can you elaborate on that? Like, what types of things are in prison? Back in the 80s, as you would say, everything, you always used to tell me, everything that was on the streets was in prison. What types of things will go on behind a wall?
Everything. You see sex, drugs, drug dealing, pimping on both sides of the end, extortion, guys fighting for drug corners in the prison for territory, neighborhood walls. I mean, you name it, we got it. You got it. And with that, we're going to continue this conversation when we come back. You listening to some real prison talk with Lebrain Brown and Suave Gonzalez on Usala Radio.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother ya?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Yo, welcome back to a Justice Conversation. You listening to Lebrain Brown and Suave Gonzalez. We filming. We in the studios live. So tune in, support this brother, support his business, because he's coming with the real deal.
All right, man. Let's just jump right back into it. So, what is the hardest thing that you had to endure in prison?
The hardest thing that I had to endure in prison was seeing my mother die and not be able to go to the funeral.
Wow. And how did that make you feel? Like, what
You
was
know,
going through your mind that day?
I mean, when you serving a life sentence, you must prepare yourself for this kind of stuff. And I was, I thought I was prepared till you get the news. And in that same sentence, they tell you, look, man, your mother died. But then 2 minutes later, count time, you got to get up. IDs at hands, and
Wow.
it's like a slave plantation. You got to keep moving. Got to keep moving.
Wow.
You got to keep moving. It desensitizes you to a lot of the things. It make you angry. It make you want to question, like, is it even worth it?
Did you
And it brings you face to face with your sentence. If you're serving life in PA, you're serving the death sentence. That's what that is.
Really?
That's what that is. So it puts you in reality with yourself.
And did you have times where you felt like, I don't want to do this anymore? I don't
Hell
want to
yeah,
be
plenty
here
of
anymore?
time. There was plenty of time that I thought suicide, and I ain't trying to get to state 30, 40 years. I used to talk to my homies that had 40, 50, 60. I know a guy that got 65 years in prison since he was 15.
Wow.
And I'm like, damn, I don't want to be like him. I don't know if I could do another 10 years in prison. And for the people out there, it don't have nothing to do with being weak. It has to do with, do you want to give the system 40 years of your life and then die and then get cancer? Because if you get sick in prison, they're not going to treat it.
Wow.
So it's almost, you think about all that.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I thought about it. Yeah, plenty of times.
I mean, psychologically, just looking at the same building for 31 years could just be so taxing on the brain. And how was that for you, knowing that you just could not leave that gate?
I mean, you become adjust to it. You adjust to it.
You adjust to it?
And that's when they say you become institutionalized. Because any memory you have from the street, they damn near erase.
Wow.
You try to hold on to the memories, for 4 years, 5 years. But once you hit the 20-year mark,
right,
and you going up to the 30s, like I was in the 30s, I was pushing going to the 40s, so
right.
So you forget like what it is to be in the street or what it is to eat with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
What it is to really use a real bathroom and not a piece of metal that's a bathroom, or to sleep in a real bed and not to eat with the same spoon all the time. You get used to that kind of stuff.
Did you mentor other juvenile lifers that came in after you?
Yeah, we mentor a lot of the young kids, and we seen some of them young kids grow old. We seen them, they come in as kids, next thing you know, they 40, 45. And they still there. Now they doing what we did with them, mentoring other kids.
Right.
Let's be clear. The lifers population out there in prison are the one that moved the prisons. They're the one that controlled the prisons.
The lifers.
The lifers. And they do it in a good sense. They're the one with the GED programs. They're the one that create programs that other lifers could benefit from. Because in the DOC, if you're a lifer, by law, you're not allowed to participate in programs. So lifers are forced to create their own programs so other lifers could get in and, have a chance.
That's heavy. And that's something that a lot of people don't know, where you're a lifer and you're not eligible to do anything.
Nothing.
So what do you do? Like, what do they expect you to do all day?
Oh, you do your time and you die.
And that's it.
Or commit suicide. That's what they expect you to do.
And why do you think that they try to strip the programs away from lifers? Why is that?
Because they mindset and philosophy is you're not going to use it outside. You're never going home. They told us that when we enrolled in college. Like, what you want a degree for? You serving life.
Oh, so you went to college?
Yeah, I
beyond
went
the
to
wall.
Villanova.
Okay, so how did that even come about?
That's because we had a doctor that decided I'm gonna create a college program and I'm gonna allow lifers to go for free.
Okay.
Right, on scholarship.
Okay.
And back then it was 16 years to get a bachelor's degree because it
While
was
you
part time.
Yeah. Okay.
But you serving life, so 16 years is like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And that's how I went to college. And even then it was a hassle because you can't get off the block to get to school on time. Because school is the last thing CEOs got in mind for you.
Wow.
They let you go play basketball or go to the yard before you could go to school.
Wow. And they
You
would
know.
try to make you guys late to school.
And they would try to
purpose.
make you late. Sometimes they don't let you out. So, but I took it as, even though I was serving life, I kind of knew that one day I'm going to get out. Right. Whether it was legal or illegal.
Right.
I did not see my future dying in prison. Period.
Wow.
So I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to make sure that on day one, if it ever happens, that I stand a chance to survive this side of the world. So I went to school. I got my degrees, wrote my books, stay involved. I ran the organization. I built a network with people out here that I knew if I ever got out, they could help me get there.
Now, going back to the college thing, so how'd you meet the doctor at Villanova who got you guys into Villanova for free?
He started a program in the 70s, and it was like the best kept secret in the jail.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, you in a maximum security prison, a dangerous prison, and there's a college program. But is you gonna go to college or you gonna go to the yard and make a couple of $1,000s? If you're in the hustle, you gonna go to the yard.
Yeah.
So that program went unnoticed by a lot of people in the prisons because we was involved in other different things. And then in I believe it was 95,
Okay.
the state had a big raid in the jail.
Okay.
They raided the jail. So-called, we're going to clean it out of drugs.
Okay.
And they took everything. Everything. So we had no choice but if you want to get out your cell, you had to go to school, legal library. So I discovered the program and sign up.
That's great.
And here we are. The rest was history.
And how long did it take you to complete that
16
program?
years.
It took 16 years.
16
to
years.
get your bachelor's degree.
Yep.
And what do you have your bachelor's degree in?
In education.
Wow. I hope everybody's hearing that.
In
Juvenile
education.
lifer. Bachelor's.
From Villanova.
Villanova University. That's
and
great.
And I went to prison with an IQ for 56.
Wow, really?
So yeah.
So you had to go get your GED first.
I did everything from sketch, ABCs, then GED, then associate's degree, then bachelor's degree.
Wow, that's great, man. So if you don't mind talking about the guards, man, how are the guards in prison? Is maximum security prison?
I mean, it depends. It depends. It depends on the day of the week.
Really?
Like, I was in a prison so close to the city that most of the guards are from the city.
Okay.
So most of them you probably know from your neighborhood.
Philadelphia, by the way.
Philadelphia. So most of them you probably know from your neighborhood. So what you have is a mixture of homies that you probably knew before you came to prison, moonlighting as guards, but they think they convicts.
Okay.
So that created the recipe for corruption.
Yeah.
It created the recipe for abuse. It created a recipe for taxpayers' dollars to be going to waste when they could be going to education and other programs.
Right.
So now what you have is a bunch of guards that want to be thugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they want to be thugs. So they get caught up with the dumb stuff and end up in prison themselves.
Have you seen that before?
Absolutely.
Well, is that a normal thing where guards end up in prison as well?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, you got, and I'm not going to single nobody, one particular person. I'm talking in general. You have guards that, put it like this, 90% of the drugs that come into the jails are coming in with guards.
Wow. 90%.
90%. 90% of the corruption that's going on in the jail is guards. You know, it can't be our family because our families got to go through metal detectors.
Yeah.
Our family got to go through the iron scans. Our family can't even get into the prison if they smell certain type of shit on you. You can't wear a certain type of fragrance without the stuff going out.
Yeah.
It got to be the guards.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Just this past last year, they stopped people from writing the prisoners because they saying K2 was getting into the prison. But yet all the people that got arrested was guards in different state institutions. Not one family member got arrested for that.
Wow. In Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Wow.
But yet they suffer because now they got to send they letters to Florida to a subcontractor, which photocopied the letter and send it to the prisoners.
So when the prisoners get their letters now, it's not even a
letter, it's a photocopy.
It's a photocopy because they got to send it somewhere, photocopy to check it for drugs or whatever.
They got to check it for drugs.
Wow, man.
So,
wow.
You know, so you have and I'm not saying this as an indictment on all the guards, because you do have some decent guards that try to treat you as human as possible, that the job allowed.
Okay.
Because they also have a job to do.
Okay.
But then you got those that goes the extra mile to make your life miserable.
Jeez.
So, and like I said, you have good ones and bad ones.
I gotta ask you this question, man, because it's something that a lot of people that don't know about the prison life, they want to know. A lot of people they have this fear of prison rape. Is that even a thing still? And if so, how do you protect yourself? Just speak on that if you can.
I mean, prison rapes. Let me say this. If you don't want to engage in them type of activities, ain't nobody gonna force you.
Okay.
Nobody gonna force it. Does prison rape happen? Sometimes. But do they occur every day? No.
Wow.
No. That's just something that you see on TV.
Right.
That's something that overrated.
Okay.
But as a person that's been in prison or served 31 years, I can tell you now, it don't go down like that.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna let somebody rape you.
Right. Right.
Knowingly. Now, does it happen where people get caught up in relationship and okay. Hey, you got your bullies in prison. But it's not like you young, we gonna take you. It don't happen like that.
Don't happen like that.
It don't happen like that.
Okay. And I'm glad you pointed that out because a lot of the time Americans have this fascination with prison rape. You got all different types of episodes on TV and Locked Up Raw, whatever. And a lot of the times that's something that's brought up,
Nah,
so
and rapes don't happen. Relationships go down.
Right.
Right? And that's a different.
Right.
It's a different. Consent set in prison between each other is illegal.
Yeah.
But relationship does happen.
Okay.
But if you say somebody walk in and three big bubbas, dude looking like bubblegum, no. No, they would be dealt with.
Yeah.
I was in a prison where you couldn't even take a shower naked. They had a designated shower for that.
Yeah?
Yeah. If that's what you want to do, you good. Okay? That's the shower.
Okay.
If you want to take a shower with your boxes, there's the shower there.
Okay.
So it wasn't like Big Bubba gonna come for you there. I mean, had it happened? Yeah, it happens.
Right.
You get one or two dudes, might see somebody soft. But it's never like we gonna gang up on this guy.
Yeah.
No, it don't happen like that, bro.
Yeah, and I just wanted you to make that clear for everybody that had questions about it, because I get that question a lot, and that's something that me personally, I didn't really think it was a big thing either.
Nah, it don't happen like that, man. And I just say this, that what you see in prison and what you see on TV is not prison, it's fiction.
Okay.
What people don't see is older guys, lifers, serving as mentors.
Okay.
Serving as father figures for some of the young boys. It is the life, like I said, it's the lifeless population that keeps half of these young boys safe.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened in the 70s because I wasn't in jail in the 70s, but I know that in the 80s, you know, it was a lot of them lifers that made it safe for us, the young boys.
Wow.
Right?
That's real.
They made it safe for us
Mm-hmm.
to the point where we was allowed to be wild and not get dealt with the way they probably would have dealt with in the 70s.
Right.
Based on somebody else's credibility.
Wow. That's real, man.
You know, and that's real rap. And it bothers me when I hear people say, well, they rape people in prison. I was in jail 31 years, bro.
Right.
And when I saw whatever went down, it was most of the time that people got into debts, you know, gambling. It was always something else.
Yeah.
But it was never, I'ma just rape you.
Just because.
Just because. It wasn't that.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, we got to go on a commercial break. You listening to a Justice Conversation, Prison Talk on Usala Radio.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Retention. So
Welcome back to a Justice Conversation. And you're listening to a special edition of a Justice Conversation with Lebrain Brown on Prison Talk.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Earlier we talked a lot about the prison rate, and you know, you gave some great clarification on that. Another thing that I wanted to ask you was about the transsexual community, or the LBGT community in prison. Can you talk about that?
Well, the prison system is just like a mimic society. Everything you have out here, we have in there, including the LGBT community. On what level you want me to address that?
Guys that look like girls in prison.
Like I said, you know, people got this misconception that transgenders, transsexuals, or gay are sexually abused in prison.
Okay.
No.
All right.
You know, in prison, they just like here. Just like out here. You are allowed to be who you are. It's your identity. You know, like I said, they have relationships in prison.
Right. Right.
You know, if that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. But it ain't like somebody's forcing you. It's not. You know, I know some people in prison in the LGBT community.
Yeah.
They are more thorough than some of the dudes I know out here.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And would get down if you are in some trouble. They will stand by you.
Really?
You know, so it's never somebody's looking at them like, you transgender, you gay. It's always that, no, we in the same situation.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And like I said, you know, they have a lifestyle. I don't have to agree with it, but I got to respect it. You know, you human. You know, what matters in prison is that number. It's not your lifestyle. It's not the color of your skin. You know, it's not where you come from, how much commissary you got.
Right.
Is that number you got.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
that's what bond is together. I got a number, you got a number. That means that the same boot that's kicking you in the butt is kicking me in the butt. When they tell us to lock up at 9 o'clock, we all getting locked down. We all taking a dump in the same toilet. We all eating the trash food. We all getting strip searched when it's time to do a shakedown. So identities and genders don't even matter in prison.
Don't matter.
Don't even matter. You are one of us.
Right.
And that's how we look at that population.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah. Well, just moving on from that topic, you know, I just wanted to address the situation and ask the people. So, like, the years that you spent in the hole, right? Solitary confinement. Like, what is it like living in the hole?
It's a routine. You get up, you sleep all day, you be up all night.
Really?
Sleep all day, be up all night.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's a peace of mind.
Okay.
I know it was for me. It gave me a chance to peel all the layers that I had built and find myself.
Okay.
And like I said, it was in solitary confinement that I learned how to read and write.
Wow.
You know, it was in solitary confinement that I wrote my first novel. So, solitary confinement worked for me because I know that at that time, I probably would have been killed in the prison because I was into some wild stuff, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I always went for the big guy. I always went for the toughest guy. You know, and because I was on a suicide mission, I was too scared to commit suicide. I already said that.
Yeah.
So I was like, but the dude do it for me, you know. If I take his stuff, he might want to stab me, you know.
Yeah.
You never know, you know, and those are crazy thoughts, but those are missions, that's the mindset in prison.
Wow.
That's the mindset.
So when you are in the hole and, you know, what about just the exercise, getting out of the cell?
I mean, you get out the cell, every day for an hour,
okay.
Monday to Friday, except on holidays, no weekends, 3 times a week for shower.
3 times.
You get like a 10-minute shower 3 times a week. No weekend shower.
Okay.
No air conditioner or none of that stuff. And it's cold in the wintertime. Food is always cold. Sometimes you see rat, you know,
rat turds
in your food or bread.
Oh man. Yeah.
You might see a couple of rats coming in your cell. If you don't have nobody in the outside world sending you books, then you ain't reading nothing. Lucky for me, I had a good friend, Linda Williams. She used to send me books.
Okay.
Like plenty of books.
Yeah.
Plenty of books. So that kept me going.
Okay.
You know, I had good friends out in the street that always send me money for commissary.
Nice.
Before my mom passed, she used to always make sure my books was fat. So I always had money for commissary. But if you don't have no support while you're in solitary confinement, it's like coming home to nothing. You just in a box till you done your time.
Wow.
They feed you real early. I know the jail I was in, they fed us like 4 o'clock. So by 5 o'clock, you was done. You was hungry.
It sound like solitary confinement is like a jail within a jail.
It is a jail within a jail.
It's like
it's a controlled space.
Wow.
And I know what it is to eat bread and sugar. You know, to save all my bread and just put some sugar, put a little water, make a ball. I know what it is.
Right.
Sometimes you have to put toothpaste on the bread
Toothpaste on the bread to make it. Wow.
Yeah, you got to survive, bro. And surviving means whatever it takes. Or holding on to old food. Because you know that on certain days they only give pork. And you don't eat pork.
Okay.
Or you know that on certain days, on Mondays, we probably get 2 eggs. But you want to save that eggs to eat it with your chicken on Wednesday. You know, out here, that's unhealthy. But in prison, you got to do what you got to do.
Wow. I want to ask you about you mentioned very earlier about your mother
Yes.
and her passing away. How was it for her having to come visit you and see
man,
you?
I'm pretty sure, man. I'm pretty sure it was hard, man. I was, like seeing your son in prison for the rest of his life.
Were you her only son?
Yeah, I got
Her
sisters.
only-
I got
you got
sisters.
sisters? Okay.
I got brothers by other ways, right? But yeah, and to see that, I'm pretty sure it was hard, bro.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to see my mother leave the visiting room, but I was grateful that I had a visit every week.
Yeah.
I was grateful I had a visit every week.
Oh, so she made
Every
sure
week
she
till
was
she
there.
passed.
Wow. And how long were you in when she passed away?
My mom passed in 2009. I got out 2017. So that was almost 20-something years, almost 24 years.
Wow, and that's dedication.
Yeah.
That's dedication. She ain't want to give up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she probably got a lot to do with the reason why you're here
Well,
right now.
she always believed that I was gonna get out. I wasn't the one that didn't believe that stuff.
Oh, so she was the one who kept
Yeah,
your
like
head
you
up.
gonna get out. I know you gonna get out, but I ain't believe that stuff. So.
Wow. So, what types of things do you do to keep her memory alive?
Not go to jail. Not go to jail, man. I don't think no mother deserves to be treated like a criminal when you go into them jails, getting strip searched and going to the metal detectors.
Right.
Spending money in the vending machine.
Right.
And I think that dudes out in the game should be given a crash course on what jail is like.
Okay.
Who will be affected by it before they decide to get in the game.
Yeah.
If you ain't getting in the game after that, you can't say you ain't know.
Yeah.
Right? But if you know what to expect from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
then you probably ain't gonna go into that game.
Right.
Because it's our mothers. It's not your wife. It's not Shorty. It's not the sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not such and such, the stripper you was throwing money at the other day that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna stick with you. The only one that's gonna ride with you, if you have any amount of time to do anything over 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
is your mom.
Wow.
It's not your brother. It's not your sister. It's not your grand. It's your mom.
Wow.
And when you take your mom out the picture,
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is out the picture. Because they got their own life to live.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah.
After she passed?
Yeah. Even before she passed. Sisters got their own life to live,
Yeah.
They ain't trying to be in jail with you for the rest of their life.
Wow.
They love you, but I got my own life to live. I got kids, I got family.
Now, do you have kids?
I don't know. I'm not going on record on that one, bro.
Okay. That's respect. Well, yeah, just any parent, man, it would be difficult to have a child that's locked up for that long,
Right.
and not give up on them. So, I mean, what I would want to ask you after this, man, is just like, so what types of stuff are you doing now?
Well, which camera I looking at? Oh, I'm just kidding. Today, I work a job that mimic prison. It really does. My job is like being on a block with 500 people.
Speak on it.
And what I mean by that, prisons are filled with mental illness people.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know how to think for yourself and think for the next person at the same time. I work a job where it's almost the same.
Really?
Where we serve 200-300 people a day.
Okay.
Most of them got special needs. Most of them need close attention. Prisoners got special needs.
Mm-hmm.
They need close attention. So that's one of the reasons I like the job. I'm also involved with my own company.
Okay.
Where I got my own publishing company. I publish work from people in prison because I believe prison has talent that the world needs to hear about.
Okay.
I believe that we should tell our own narrative instead of letting other people tell our stories.
Right.
We could do that up ourselves.
Right.
So I decided to create my own company, Disobey Publication.
Wow, that's
And,
nice, man.
and next week, which is February 29th, I will have my first book signing and launching of the company at one of Philadelphia's historic site, the Fashion District. And it might not sound major to people out there, but it's major. Gotta remember, we come from places where we ain't supposed to be at the Fashion District conducting business. A lot of us don't think we could get in them places.
Right.
Because we always with the mindset, they're not gonna let us in.
Right.
You know, I say to that, you never know. Don't give up. I was supposed to die in prison. I was supposed to die in prison. I had a death by incarceration. I'm sitting here today, our studio, where I conduct my weekly show, doing this interview with you as a free man.
Love it, man.
As the owner of my own company,
Mm-hmm.
as the subject of a national documentary coming out in May with NPR Radio, you know, traveling, speaking in different universities.
Right.
You know, so to those that don't think that there's hope, there is hope. You know, and this only help change people's perception. And
Right.
I'm hoping that some people that see this video or see this interview will have a change.
That's real.
You know, this is what the face of reentry look like.
Right.
As childs and children, we make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody make mistakes as children. If we to lock up everybody that made a mistake as a child, we had no people out here.
Right.
You know, do people change? Yeah. Are prisons are needed? Sometimes. Do a lot of people in prison need to be out? Yes. Yes. Do we need to keep a person in prison for 50, 60 years? For what? For what? For what? People change.
They do.
They told us as children that we couldn't change. Here we are. The majority of the juvenile lifers that's out today are doing wonderful work in the community.
Wow.
And like I always said, to be successful don't mean you got to run a business. As long as you out here taking care of your family,
Yeah.
helping the community, not in jail, you are a success story.
And how many juvenile lifers are out right now?
I think we have about 280
Around
in Philadelphia.
Oh, in just Philadelphia.
Yeah.
20. Wow, that's great.
You know, so, and that's a success story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, to know that I come from a place where I was supposed to die.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am today.
Right.
Doing a show. 37 states. 180,000 listeners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just 2 years ago, I was in prison. Not knowing if I was going to die or get out of prison.
Wow.
You know, so to me, it's like people change. And we need everybody out there. People that make videos, people that write books, people in the arts, culture, clothing design. To understand that anytime you take and glorify prisons,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing a disservice.
Right.
If you're not sending the message, which is people do change. If you're not supporting prison reform, then you're doing a disservice.
Right.
And I ain't messing with you.
You messing with them.
I'm not messing with you. I'm not wearing your clothes. I see a lot of clothes with a lot of prisons lingo, right? That ain't prison reform.
Right.
That
Right.
ain't prison reform. This is prison reform.
Right.
Us doing something positive and sending a message to the rest of the kids out there that prison ain't cool.
All right. Now listen, man, before we get up out of here, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to interview you, man. I love this.
You got about 6 minutes, man. You better use all that time.
All right. So what I want to say when I want to ask you, man, one final question. For the young kids growing up right now that glorify street life, that glorify going to prison, that love doing the wrong thing, if you had any advice to give to them directly, what would you do? What would you say?
Any advice? Anytime you hear one of these clowns out here glorifying the streets, telling you lies, right? Walk away. If somebody is putting a gun in your hand and telling you to go shoot somebody, that's somebody you're going to walk away from. Because that's the same person, when you get caught, that's going to pop up in court and say he did it to cop a deal.
Wow.
And let me be clear, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, and this is not everybody. If the shoe fit, wear it. But you do have some old heads out there that use these young kids for crime, and then when they end up in prison, and let them die in prison. Not even a postcard, not even a Christmas card.
Wow, that's deep.
Not even $10 for oodles and noodles, because that's all you could get for $10. So to the young brothers out there, I really apologize on behalf of all them people that misled y'all. Prison are not cool.
It's not cool.
You know, in the 80s, you could do some time because the prison was wide open. You could basically get it your way.
Right.
Now, when you go to prison, you're going to be locked in 23-1. And unless you got a pass to go to school, chapel, or any service, you in your cell. So imagine being in a shoebox for the rest of your life, looking at the same walls, like you said earlier. Right? Not being able to receive a letter from your kids.
Wow.
Not being able to receive pictures.
Wow.
Not being able to call your people when you want or eat what you want. You lose your taste buds, bro. Like everything start tasting like oodles and noodles.
And if you could change it, what would you do? If you could change Pennsylvania prison systems, just the inside, how would you change it?
I would grant parolability for lifers, for all lifers, on a case-by-case basis. I would require everyone to have at least a associate's degree on their way out.
Okay.
Some type of trade. I would implement more training in the prisons for guys to get with the workforce out here.
Right.
I would allow prisoners to do resumes the way we do resumes out here with just computers.
Okay.
Everything in the prison is antiquated. We still have typewriters and Walkmans in the prisons.
Wow.
You know, I would allow the community to have a say-so on the type of treatment that the prisoners should receive. Because at the end of the day, that person in prison is coming back to that community where he came from, which is your community.
Right.
So why you shouldn't have a say-so on who you want in your community?
Right, right.
You know, those are little things that may not sound much, but they make it different.
Okay, okay.
They make it different.
Now, is Graterford State Prison where you were, is that still up?
It's still up, but it's closed.
It's closed.
It's closed. Now they got SCI Phoenix, which is the largest construction building aside from the convention center.
And is that PA or?
That's PA. That's in Montgomery County.
Okay.
Right next to Gratisford.
Okay.
You know, like I said, the largest construction building. Wow. Price-wise and size-wise.
Wow.
It's as big as the convention. Imagine the convention center being a prison.
Wow. And now, do you know why Graterford closed down?
Because they wanted to build another prison.
Because they just
they didn't knock it down, so that means that, it has potential to open back up, and it probably will. Because most time when they say we're closing prisons, that means we just moving prisoners from one jail to another jail. We're gonna close for a year, clean it up, and pack it back up.
Wow. How long has it been closed?
A year, almost a year and a half now.
Wow. Okay. And they might want to try to modernize it. I'm not sure, but I mean, hopefully they keep that thing closed.
They was doing that before the jail closed.
They was doing that.
So, it's just another jail they got ready.
Yeah. And you spoke on SCI Phoenix. Have you been there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a famous guy that's in there, Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah. I ain't gonna speak much on him, but he is there. I was on the block with him.
Okay.
And all I can say is, man, you got a man that had everything in the world brought back to reality. I will say this, that he's one of the individuals that understand that you will have all the money in the world, but if you black or brown, they could strip you out of that power real quick. And he's getting a taste of that.
He's getting a taste. Wow.
Yes.
That's deep, man.
I'm not one to sit here and criticize him why he's in jail for or how he conduct himself in jail. All I know is that in the prison, that that's famous, such and such. He's just a number like everybody
just
else.
another person.
Just another person.
Wow, that's deep, man. Well, look like we all out of time, man.
So I want to say to the people out there listening,
Yep.
thank you for tuning in. We're not here next week. Next week we're gonna be transmitting live from the Fashion District at Sable. Look at my Facebook for more information. We're gonna give out gift cards. 2 of the books got a gift card to Pandora for a set of earrings, a necklace. So yo, it's gonna be fun. My book signing, come out and support it. Love y'all. We see you again on the Justice Conversation on Usala Radio. Our show is sponsored by Westchester University and produced by the wonderful one, Dylan.